Welcome to La Vida Rosa. I'm your host Pinky, and today we're going to talk about Married at First Sight, Season 13, Episode 6. But before we begin, I would like for everyone to check out DOSSIER. So DOSSIER perfumes are basically sophisticated luxury scents that you can get without the premium price. With DOSSIER perfumes, you get the iconic scent and the designer quality. So they come in this cute little box and they get you all safe and sound. So the first scent here is the citrus green apple. And this one is inspired by Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue. This scent is very fresh. It's one of my everyday scents. It's something that I always spray before I leave the house. This scent just makes me feel super easy breezy. You get 1.74 ounces in this bottle, so I feel like you get a decent amount for the price. Another one of my favorite scents is the Ambery Saffron, and this is inspired by the Baccarat Rouge Eau de Parfum. See, I wear this one when I want to feel a little bit more spicy or when I'm dressed up. It just gives me like a very elegant feel. Not only do both of these perfumes smell good, but they're also long lasting. And these are not the only scents on the website. You have so many more to choose from. You get to try so many new scents without breaking the bank, okay? And your girl hooked you up, okay? Not only does the website have a welcome offer of 20% off, but also if you use my code 10PINKY, you can get 10% off of your order, meaning you can get up to 30% off of your first order. So please do not pass up this deal because it's definitely worth it. So without further ado, let's get into this video. So let's begin with Zach and Mikayla. Poor Zach. Like, I just really wish that Mikayla would have stayed. Like, when I saw the other couples outside of his window kind of like hollering up to him, and he said that they sent him some drinks or whatever to, like, I guess cheer him up or whatever. Mikayla, that should have been you. You could have been down there. Y'all could have been having whole conversations with each other. Like, I don't know. I didn't like the fact that she left. Like, I really hated it now because he just seems like he is just almost drowning in his own misery, because like that is a very like isolating feeling, to be alone, to be sick, and you know there's nothing you could do about it. You just stuck in this room. You're literally on the beach, but you can't go to the beach. Like, it's a miserable thing to go through, and I just really wish she would have supported him a little bit more. I just really do. And you know, they very well could have been FaceTiming every day. They could have been talking to each other, texting each other all day, every day. I don't know. But I don't know. I just feel like that physical support would have meant so much more. And then later on, Zach FaceTimed the rest of the group. When he was talking to them, he said he just doesn't want her to resent him. And I'm just like, girl, you made him feel that way by how you reacted. She almost placed the blame on him. That's the way her speech was coming across. And I was just like, so I'm so happy they're going to see each other next episode. I don't care if it's going to end in a fight. I just want them to be in the same vicinity, because this is so, it's just tragic. So let's move on to Ryan and Brett. Boring. The most impressive thing Ryan did on this episode is that he's pretty good at paddleboarding. Brett faced her fears of being around a manatee, but not really, because she chickened out and wanted to leave. He's an outdoorsman. She's not. So that's really, I don't know how that's gonna match up. Like, that might end up being a deal breaker, because if he's like that much of a outdoorsy person and always wants to do that, and she's like not with it, that could cause problems, because he might want to find somebody else to do that with. But yeah, I really do feel like she gives him way too much credit for comforting her, because I never see him actually comforting her. It's like literally the bare minimum of, well, you're gonna be okay, da, 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 with a very sarcastic tone or very monotone tone. Like, it makes me wonder, like, about her past relationships, because if you think that he's doing the most to comfort you, I wonder how you've been treated in the past, because he seems like literally this man gives less than 10%. Like, he's draining to watch. So when they had the dinner, they talked about the different political views. Basically, they have completely differing views, and if she were just dating this man, she would have been dumped him. He doesn't think that it should matter but she does because she's very passionate, especially after what happened in 2020, right? We all know what happened. So I don't see this working. I don't see this working, y'all. And it shouldn't work. Like, I don't feel like he truly likes her or cares about her anyway. So I kind of don't even want it to work. I hate to wish bad on people's marriage, but he turns me all the way off. Let's talk about Jose and Rachel. So he arranged for them to go biking, and she revealed that she didn't know how to ride a bike, child. And you know he loved to teach. You know he loved to be in control. So this was right up his alley, teaching her how to do something she didn't know how to do. But she learned how to ride very easily. Maybe it's easier to learn as an adult than as a child, especially if you're a little bit athletic. I don't know, but she learned very easy, and that kind of shocked me. So they had a conversation about things they wanted to do before they had children, and she mentioned that she wants to go on a very expensive trip to Switzerland before she has kids. And I think the problem with the way Jose speaks with her is that I didn't like how quick he shut her down. It's like he downplays what she wants to do and then just immediately gives her this cheaper option. And I don't know, like, you just don't shut people down like that. Like, especially your wife, this is something she says she really wants to do. I didn't like that. And I understand what he was saying. Like, if we want to have kids, we need to prepare for that. We need to put money to the side. Maybe we need to take trips that are in America because that's going to be less expensive. But she also says she's someone that travels often. So he said, let's go to New York. Let's go to... She probably been there already. That's why she want to go to Switzerland. She said every 2 years she takes big trips. So I don't know. I just feel like that's something that maybe he should bend on a little bit. And since he wants to be the one to step up and pay majority of the bills, and you're putting your money to the side, why don't you save up for this big trip? Since this is something you really want to do, why don't you put money to the side and save? Why don't you ask him to teach you how to budget so you can actually do something like that? I think it can happen, y'all, but both of them have to compromise. And I also don't think she probably should have told him the extent of how bad her finances are and how she'll just, you know, take a trip off a credit card, because this man's gonna hold this over your head for the rest of y'all marriage. I'm sorry, until you actually start budgeting. So they talk about the joint account once again, and like I said, I'm not finna complain if you want to pay all the bills and I get to keep my check. Now, that just sounds like that's what the deal is. And maybe it's not. But that sounds like what the deal is. And then you get to have that little extra, he said, whatever's left, you get to have that. Girl, I'm sorry. Like, I know we want to be independent women and stuff like that. But if he wants to be a provider, if he likes the nicer things in life and he makes the money to cover that, let him do it. Because you could be stacking your money in the meantime. Oh, he was itching to tell her his credit score. And it's 815, nearly perfect, like he said. And she was concerned about what he asked for in a partner when he talked with the experts. And he said he asked for someone on his level. And I'm just like, financially, it just don't seem like she is. Finances is definitely going to be the running theme in their marriage within the next few weeks. So we see them mingle with the other couples, and y'all really hate it when he grabs her neck whenever they kiss. Y'all, she might like that. Like, y'all hate it, but it don't seem like she had no problems with that, okay? So I'm going to have to mind my business on that. She might really like that. Everybody around them, just based off of how they interact with one another and stay kissing on each other and everything, think that they consummated their marriage. And later on, they discuss physical intimacy because, you know, they've had most of the tough conversations except for this one. And whenever she brought it up, he looked really irritated about it. I don't know why. Maybe because right before that, he wanted to open up the bottle of champagne, and she wanted to do it because she used to do that for a living, and she told him he was doing it wrong. I don't know if he was irritated over that. He's one of those people that his face just tells it all, honey. He cannot hide when he's like irritated by something. So I was wondering what why he was so irritated, it couldn't possibly have been this conversation. I mean, she just started it. But anyway, she brought it up and she said, you know, they've been clicking on everything else, but intimacy might be the one area that they don't click. She feels that if they don't consummate within this experiment, like, you know, when they're living together and if they're moving at the same pace, if they don't consummate, you know, during this experience, then she will see something wrong with that because they have such a strong connection. And he feels like it's so important to, you know, to connect mentally first. And he said, I need these boxes checked. I need boxes checked before I think about it. And I'm just like, boy, if you don't calm down with these boxes checked, he like this is another moment where he's giving like a very controlling vibe. Like, I get it. Yes, you want to get to know each other. You want to make sure that you all are on the same page and connect mentally and things like that. I totally agree. But just the way that he comes off, it's like, well, it's going to be on my time. And I'm just like, oh, I would have to count to 10 with talking with him. I'm serious. Like, But yeah, Jose needs to chill out, because every time they try to have a conversation about serious topics, he always feels the need to take over and take the lead, and what I say goes. That's just the way his tone comes off. That would be an issue for me. I know it's going to be an issue for Rachel because she's an independent woman, so we'll see how that goes. Let's talk about Marilyn and Gil. They do have this very kind of comical banter with one another. I do think they bounce off of one another well, but I feel like on Gil's end it's very passive aggressive. Like, instead of like being straight up and honest with her about her being so picky or particular or whatever you want to call it, I feel like instead of joking about it all the time, maybe he could bring up like a real grievance. And maybe he's not having a real grievance to bring up. Maybe not. But I just feel like it's very passive aggressive, and I just wish he would come out and say it. He seems like the type that would do it. Sometimes it's funny, and sometimes it's like, well, just spit it out. Just say what you want to say, because she does not hesitate to say what she want to say at all. So maybe he doesn't want to get into conflict. I don't know, but it's annoying. So they have a conversation about this last name. And obviously they disagree because he wants her to take his last name and she doesn't want to take his because she says it's in dedication of her father. But the first thing she said was she just liked the way it sounds. I do think she wants to dedicate it to her father, but I just really think she just don't want to change it. She just used to being Mirla Feria, and that's what she wants to be. He suggested, you know, like a hyphenation thing, and she thinks that will be too long. And once she brought up the memory of her father, he was like, see, that's not even fair because I'm gonna look like a jerk if I try to press you to change it now. She not changing her last name, Gil. You might as well, you can hang that up. So then when we see all the couples gather together, for me personally, I see that it's not a fluke that Gil just be opening up his mouth and talking too much. Last episode, I feel like he did team too much when he was talking to the group about his wife behind her back, basically calling her a toddler, and that's how he deals with her. And, you know, I just wonder if he would have said that to her face, because if he wouldn't, he was definitely in the wrong for what he did. I think he was wrong anyway, but this time around, I just feel like he was talking way too much. Like, he's the one who brought up these political views. He said that he just really would not care if they had opposing political views, and she is very much vehemently does not want to be with someone who is on the opposite side. And I agree with her on this. The same way. And while he was speaking, she was definitely making faces like what? And she was definitely making it known that they were on two totally different pages, and it was kind of awkward for the rest of the couples. Like, that's why I hate that he brought it up. I feel like this is like a personal conversation that you should have with your partner first. Like, it looked like people at the table had not even discussed that with each other yet, and you're trying to make them put it all out there in front of everybody. That would irritate me so. Like, I would be so irritated with him for doing that. Y'all on y'all honeymoon. Like, we trying to have fun, lighthearted conversations right now. And if you do want to talk about something, don't get too deep. Like, he just really took it there, and it was annoying. So later they discussed how they both grew up poor. And, you know, they weren't so poor that they went hungry. They had what they needed, but, you know, Gil said he never felt the effects of not having much, but Mirla clearly did, because she says she's always wanted nice things. And she's always been a diva from the beginning, and she loves being called a diva, so that's also very telling. She has siblings, he has siblings, but he was raised as an only child. I'm guessing maybe his siblings are way older than him, or maybe he has half siblings that were raised in another household. He didn't really explain that, but he said that he wants to have at least 7 or 8 kids. So are you gonna carry them, Gil? Like, that was my first thought. Like, are you gonna carry them? But he was like, well, I don't mind if we just have a couple of, you know, biological children, and then we can adopt the rest. And that's when she said that she is completely against adoption, and everybody has their own opinion, right? Everybody can feel the way they want to about adoption, but I hate to hear that people are like against it. Why are you so against adoption? Like, there are so many children out there that need a good home, and I don't know, I could never say I'm against adoption. I know so many people in my life that were adopted, and you would never be able to tell the difference with them inside of their family. Like, and I can't imagine them not being a part of our family. You know what I'm saying? She did say that she would like to exhaust all other options before adoption, but I don't know, her initial reaction to adoption was pretty negative. So I probably wouldn't even want her to adopt anybody based off of that. And she also shut down the 7 or 8 children because she says she wants her children to have everything that she didn't have. And how can she provide that if she has so many? So later on, she surprised him with a platter of chocolate chip cookies because she remembered that was his favorites, and he was so over the moon about it. And basically he said it's like, this is like giving him flowers, or it's like foreplay. And I'm like, dang, okay, calm down. Y'all ain't even kissed yet. You don't want to scare her too much, okay? And you are very easy to please. All I got to give you is a platter of cookies. And he was also happy because he feels like her actions are showing that she's trying, even though they haven't kissed yet. So this is keeping him wanting to remain involved. He kind of ruined the whole moment by bringing up his dog. You already know she doesn't care for animals, so why would you bring this up right now? I don't know. And basically, you know, brought up his dog baby, because that's obviously how he views the dog. Like, he loves this dog, and he wants her to love his dog as much as he does. She told him that, you know, she's not an animal person, and she doesn't want to walk the dog or clean up after him, period. She don't want to do it. And he was very disappointed. He also said that he works 24 hours a day for 2 days weekly, and so he's gonna need someone to walk the dog on the days where he works. And she said she would pay a dog walker, and he feels like that's a waste of money because you're an able-bodied person, you could walk the dog. And she just feels like it's being forced upon her. And he said it makes it hard for him to get to know her further because, you know, that's a huge turnoff that she's not a dog person. It's not like she just sitting around the house all day and is able to walk the dog, and she just won't. She actually has a job that she has to attend every day as well. So I do kind of feel like that's a little bit of an excuse, because you can't come home and walk the dog, I guess. But maybe she'll be too tired. Belle and Johnny. Belle still has this pillow fort up in between them. And I don't know if she's legitimately not picking up on social cues, or is she punishing him for teasing her, or is she just really that uncomfortable with cuddling? I don't know. Whatever it is, Johnny looked like he was over it. Okay? And I'm not surprised that he confronted her later on, not about this particular thing, but just her being kind of distant overall. So they revisit the snoring thing. She thanks him for listening to her, and you know, he still thought it was an overreaction and worries that they'll argue over small petty things in the future. And he said he would have ran if they were dating each other. And I'm just like, boy, bye. Like, you're not sensitive. Like you're not sensitive, like you're not sitting over here biting your fingers and nervous trying to figure out if she likes you or not, whether she likes your body type, whether she thinks you're cute. You think you would have a little bit more compassion. And I don't mean to go this hard on him. I don't. Let me calm down. I didn't mean to get that hype. But I'm just saying, like, you are sensitive and you have the nerve to judge somebody for having an insecurity. She also opens up about how it's harder for her to open up emotionally. It's much easier for her to physically go there with someone. And so that's probably why she's been a little bit more distant. And later on, he confronted her about her being distant and just overall not being present in the moment. He said it affected him to the point where he felt like he had a fight or flight after she confronted him about him teasing her about the snoring. I mean, I guess she did kind of ruin the moment, but you've ruined the moment every morning by mentioning her snoring. So I don't know, y'all. That's just how I feel about it. But she did take what he said seriously. She said she saw it in his eyes and she felt judged, and but she appreciated him for being straightforward with him. You could tell that she did make a big effort to focus on him for the rest of the trip, because even when they went parasailing, which looks so fun, something I really want to do in this lifetime, you could tell that she was trying to connect with him, and they just seemed like they were just having a good time from that point on. So they met up with the couples, and Johnny ended up opening up about how they have had issues on the honeymoon, but they, you know, addressed them and they resolved them without actually saying what the issue was. And see, Gil, learn from him. That's how you do it. They opened up and you know, shared some things that went on in their relationship without having to get so personal and share every last dirty detail. That's the way you do it, and I appreciated that she was there while he did it. And then later on, when they all met up and they went out on the water, they did the paddleboarding, and somehow Johnny almost got lost at sea. See, that's why I wouldn't do nothing like that on no open water, because I can't swim, first of all, so I'm gonna need a life jacket. Second of all, I would panic so bad I would probably end up even further. Y'all gonna have to unhook that boat and come get me. Somebody gonna have to come get me, because I'm probably gonna be hollering, crying, and screaming, police, help, police, help. I promise, I wouldn't have no shame either. Like, because on Unfiltered, Johnny said, first of all, didn't nobody come get him? So he was panicking, but he had to figure it out because didn't nobody come. And he said he got so far to the point where people were shouting and trying to tell him what to do, but he couldn't even hear them no more. Y'all, I'm sorry. And I probably would have got back and I would have had an attitude with everybody on that boat. Y'all didn't even try to unanchor the boat and come where I was to come get me. Y'all needed to do something to come get me. Y'all just was gonna let me float away. So then we get to this shower conversation. Belle is concerned that Johnny showers a few times a day, and she says sometimes she only showers that many times within a week. Now, she claims to shower daily. There are times where showering is not her first priority, and she made it sound like, you know, those are days when she may be tired or depressed. But she also says she will work a full day and get in bed without showering or brushing her teeth. Johnny, surprisingly, seems to be okay with that. But he said his only stipulation was, if you work out and get sweaty, shower before bed and make sure you change the sheets the next day. She says she'd be so lazy, she would much rather sleep on the couch. So you want to dirty the couch up? He said, just wash the sheets. Oh, I'm gonna be too lazy. That don't feel, you don't want to feel so fresh and so clean after a shower. Like, I'm so sorry. Washing your body daily is literally the bare minimum for your hygiene. Brushing your teeth every day and washing your body every day. Because anything less is unsanitary and stank. And especially if you're going to have someone in close quarters with you, that is disrespectful. And that is rude to my nose. I should not have to experience that funk, okay? Of you getting in the bed after working out, after working a full day. And on Unfiltered, Johnny really felt a way about this because he said, so you want to take away cuddle time and intimate time from your husband because you don't want to bathe? That just really sounds selfish. He didn't say it in those words. I put it like that. But you could tell he was all the way over it. Like the faces he was making. I was making those exact same faces. Same. That's a deal breaker low key. I don't know about for him. He seems like, maybe he might work with it in a way. But girl, that's not even something I'm willing to compromise on. And also at the end of Unfiltered, they watched the preview for next week, and Johnny said that he did not stay with her the first night. And I'm wondering, is that because you didn't bathe your body, girl? I really hope that you just didn't decide to bathe after that long trip, because I don't mind him taking a stand and saying, well, guess what? I'm not staying here, period. Because that's absolutely ridiculous. Because you don't want to bathe. But yeah, y'all, that's it for this week. The previews for next week look so intense. Like, I thought that was a preview for maybe the rest of the season. No, they said next week. I can't believe all of that happened next week. We know for a fact it's going to be jam-packed with drama. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think about my review. Did you agree with me? Did you not agree with me? I would love to hear your opinion. And I'll see you in my next one. Peace.